Welcome back. Glad you clicked the button. Matthew 5:9, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Would you call Jesus a peacemaker? He loved the unlovable. He fed the hungry, clothed the naked, set free the captives of the laws of man. Yes, he was a peacemaker. I would say he's a peacemaker. He was a peacemaker to those who were willing to accept him. But to those who were rejecting him because it took their power and control of the people away, he was a radical. He was a domestic terrorist. He was a false teacher. He was a wannabe revolutionary. He was only a peacemaker to those who loved him. But to those who hated him, he was an extremist. Now notice, I want you to, let's reread that verse again. Blessed are the peacemakers. Let's stop right there, underline that, put a pin in it, circle it with a highlighter. Notice that says peacemakers and not peacekeepers. What's the difference? I'll tell you, because there is a difference. Peacekeeper is one who compromises to appease everyone for the sake of peace. You want this and you want that? Well, how about we do this and this so we can all be peace? That is a peacekeeper. That's not what Jesus did in any shape, form, or fashion. Jesus did not compromise to make peace. Now check it out. This is historical and biblical. You can open up any textbook. You can even open it up to American history. And throughout all history, every empire that ever existed, including America, to achieve peace, it first had to wage war with its enemies. It had to go out, slaughter, conquer every enemy and everyone and everything that would oppose it, so that it could have peace in its entirety. Because if it did not, if it left one enemy standing, then that enemy would be attacking it for the rest of its existence. That is the difference between, or that is how you make peace. To make peace, you first must make war. To remove all your enemies and to remove all those who oppose you so that you can have peace. If not, then you're going to be attacked throughout your entire reign. When a new king came into position, the code of conduct is to slaughter all the relatives of the pre-existing king so that they had no claim to the throne and could not attack him, and that he could rule in peace. To make peace, you must make war with your enemies, and then you must conquer them. Jesus waged war on evil. And he waged war on evil by forgiving people of their sins, leading people to salvation, to the truth, and delivering as many that would accept him from eternal hell. And by challenging and calling out all those who taught false doctrine and sought to enslave people by using God's law and twisting it around and making something that it's not. Jesus came to wage war with the devil and the false prophets, preachers, and teachers to set the people free so that we may have peace. For us to be peacemakers, we must declare and wage war on the forces of evil. We have to preach the truth about God and Yeshua and their word and lead as many people to Jesus as possible. And you can't do that from sitting on the sidelines. We have to get up and fight back and keep demonic leaders, for starters, out of our government and out of leadership roles. We have to take a stand. We have to stand up and say enough is enough and put God back in our governing laws. We can't have a godly country and a godly nation if the people who lead and rule this nation are ungodly and seek to use laws and powers to enslave its people instead of setting it free. To let your light shine, you have to follow Jesus Christ and to be like Him. To be like Him, you have to do all that you can to lead sinners out of the pits of hell to Jesus for Him to save. And to do that, you're going to make enemies. And they're going to attack, and we're not to fear those attacks. Because our reward is not in this world. Our reward is an everlasting life. So even if they kill us and die, no matter what they do to us, their weapons can never prosper. We have to seek to make peace as Jesus did by waging war and conquering our enemies. And in this instance, our enemies are spiritual enemies. Our enemies are demonic, demon, black, dark powers who have set themselves in place like a game of chess over rule of our country. Now, if you look at Jesus' ministry, He did teach in the temples. He did teach I can't think of the word. But he taught at the temples I can't think of the word, it escapes me. Anyway, he taught at the temples sometimes. Every now and then he would go. But if you read the Bible and see, the majority of his ministry was done on the street, was done in the streets. We're to be like Him and follow Him to have His light shine in us. So therefore, we need to get in the streets. We need to feed the hungry like He did. We need to clothe the naked as He did. We need to free those that are captive of sin by showing them the salvation and freedom in Jesus Christ and how to truly follow Him and obey His laws. Now, that being said, ain't none of us perfect. I'm not perfect. I sin on a daily basis. And anybody that says they don't sin, that sits behind a pulpit, that sits behind a camera, or any role of leadership or authority and says they don't sin, they're a liar. We all sin. That's why Jesus had to die on the cross. If we didn't sin, if we could be perfect, there'd be no need for Him to die on the cross. We are saved and granted salvation by grace and His forgiveness and His mercy. Without that, we don't have anything because our works are nothing but ash. But we have to get in the streets. We have to make trouble against the forces of evil. And sometimes it might even get physical. Even Jesus picked up a whip and started chasing the money changers out of the temple. We need to stop compromising for the sake of peace. Because every time we compromise with evil, every time we compromise with demonic forces, every time we try to make peace with them, they take more and more and we lose more and more. Now, I'm not telling you to get out there in the streets and get violent and cause a riot. But what I am saying is time to get off your butt and fight back. They're indoctrinating our children. Even Hitler knew to win the future, you have to indoctrinate the youth because those are the future leaders. You can't conquer the ones that are in power now. They're going to die and be replaced by the youth today. So you have to indoctrinate the youth to get them to do what you want them to do when they're older. That's how you conquer people. So why are we not doing the same thing? Why are we not fighting back with our own kids? We need to be indoctrinating our kids with the truth, the Word of God, not with the word and law of man. Homosexuality is not okay. Killing babies is not okay. Transsexuality is definitely not okay. Idol worship is not okay. Demon worshiping is not okay. Coexistence is not okay. Now in the Bible, Jesus says the last days will be as in the days of Noah. And it was so ungodly then that there was only one person in his family that God deemed worthy to repopulate the earth. Well, I would argue now, in the days of Noah, they were committing the same sins Sodom and Gomorrah were committing. But I would argue we're almost probably a little bit worse than they were in the days of Noah, and probably a little bit worse than they were in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. Because back then, they weren't turning boys into girls and girls into boys. We're playing God and trying to create 62 different types of genders. We're playing God and trying to make men women and women men and saying it's okay. It's not. We are not okay. This country is far from okay. And our leadership is as far from God as it can possibly get. We have to say enough and quit compromising and quit letting them tell us how we are to act and what we are to teach in our churches, what it is okay to teach our children. In a local high school here in Dothan, Alabama, they had a rally. And in the rally, they had the boys dress up as female strippers and were giving the male faculty lap dances, and had the girls dress up in Hooters outfits and pass out drinks to the faculty. And then the whole ending of the celebration, the male faculty were bending the male students that were dressed up as strippers and spanking them on a desk. That is not okay, America. That is not okay, Alabama. What are y'all smoking in your crack pipes? Are you freaking kidding me? We are as godless as it gets. And unless the righteous, the followers of Jesus Christ, stand up and do something about it, I don't know how, but it's going to get worse. It's time to declare war. It's time to make peace by destroying our enemies. That way we can rule and reign with Christ in peace. Now I know that the end time's got to happen. If you read Revelations, it says these things must come to pass. But there is no set time. And a lot of people have a lot of different theories about why Jesus and God didn't give a set time. And it says even Jesus doesn't even know when he's going to return. That decision is solely up to God. And this is truly speculation on my end. This has nothing to do with biblical, because nobody knows why God said, I'm not telling you when Jesus is coming back. There's a lot of speculation on that. But I think he's allowing us, again, this is not biblical, this is not speculation, or this is not biblical, this is truly speculation on my end. But I think he's allowing us to decide when Jesus comes back. Because the righteous can rise up and slay the evil and put God first again and serve him. And then it will not be like in the days of Noah. I believe he's leaving it up to us to decide when the end times come. Because we are allowing this to happen. All evil needs to win is for righteous men to do nothing. We are allowing the end times to come to pass because we are doing nothing. We are sitting idly by in our coffee shops and on our couches and talking and complaining about it, but we're not doing anything. We are the ones allowing the end times to happen. If we would stand up and fight back, then it would not be as in the days of Noah. But that's my take on it. That might not be the case. God did harden Pharaoh's heart to make him not release the children of Israel, to let them go. So that way God could punish them for all the things they did. Pharaoh actually made up his mind to release the people and let the people go. And it says God, Elohim, hardened his heart and changed his mind. So, God may not be allowing us to stand up and fight back so the end times can come to pass, just as he hardened Pharaoh's heart so he could bring punishment upon the wickedness that the Egyptians have done. But what would this world look like if all the God-fearing, Bible-thumping, tongue-speaking, Holy Ghost, Spirit-filled soldiers of Christ would rise up and say, enough, and fight back? This world would look different. And we outnumber them 1,000 to 1. But yet we sit by and do nothing. So it may be God's plan and will that we do nothing, so the end times may come. That may be the case, I don't know. But I do know to follow Jesus and to have a light to shine as Jesus did, we have to follow him. And to follow him, we have to teach and do as he taught and do. And that is going to make enemies. And the enemies are going to attack us. We are going to lose friends as Jesus lost friends. The enemy is going to attack us as he attacked Jesus. The enemy is going to kill us as they killed Jesus. But just like Jesus, the evil cannot win when they kill us, because our reward is not of this world. It is eternal. And by our death, we achieve our victory. And to be a peacemaker, we have to wage war on the enemy and fight back. I hope y'all got something from this. Shabbat Shalom. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. God bless. Have a good Sabbath and a good week.